Hello and welcome back to UK Games Expo. This is Geoff from Final Boss Fight and I'm here with Newman from the Miskatonic Repository.
Hello, hello. Lovely to see you.
How are you doing? How's the show been for you so far?
It's been next level. It's been really, really cool. We've been running here on Sirenscape. We're working with Sirenscape this year. We've kind of created a bespoke set of scenarios. This is Arkham Towers, which essentially is a haunted hotel. There's rooms, random rooms. So people will come and book in. They'll get a hotel check-in card, and then they get a random room to experience a random haunting in. So we've had people coming and playing, and as you know, we've just been in Piazza 4, got it right, running a mini LARP based around selling timeshares around Arkham Towers, which is quite good fun.
Yeah, it was great fun actually, yeah. It's a lot more lethal than the usual games.
It turned quite lethal. I was, having not done that before at the expo, I was kind of like, I wonder how many people's going to turn up. It was lovely. We had people like stand at the back and everything, so it was oversubscribed, and everyone got involved. So really good fun.
That's great. So tell us a bit about the Miskatonic Playhouse. Who are you? What do you do?
So as the Playhouse, what we do, as you can see, we're an actual play podcast for horror tabletop role-playing games. We mainly play Call of Cthulhu, and we really champion community content, so we focus a lot on Miskatonic Repository, which is this symbol here. It's like a sister publisher to Calcium, and the idea of that is that we, myself, and quite a lot of the other Playhouse team, so Hedge, Stu, Pete, they're also published on the Miskatonic Repository, so we're a part of the community that we're championing. So if you've written something and it's published on the Playhouse, it's published on the repository, you can ping it to us, send it to us at miskatonicplayhouse@gmail.com, and we'll have a look at it, and we'll try and put together either like an audio podcast of it, or if we're really kind of like, wow, this is awesome, we'll do like a live YouTube feed for it. So we're trying to champion the community, but also get material out there so people can see how these games are played.
That's great. So how did all this start for you? What got you into Call of Cthulhu?
What got me into Call of Cthulhu? Well, my background is in acting. So the whole role-playing thing was a very natural thing for me. I'm also a teacher, so writing, editing is also quite a significant part of my daily life. And I'd written a few things before, I'd written a book before, and I was kind of looking for something where I could blend the idea of my kind of lovely performance within that as well. This just landed. Like most people, D&D was a gateway to role-playing, great fun. And when I found this, and I found the squishy humans and you don't necessarily understand the horror you're facing, I thought it was just such a cool way to explore the mystery and the clues and the handouts. I think this game lends itself to role-play so much more naturally than a lot of other tabletop role-playing games, and I love lots of different tabletop role-playing games. And that kind of led into this. We were on a Facebook chat one time, and Stu Sellens, who's one of my colleagues, mentioned, what we need is someone who's going to be, why is nobody doing actual plays of community content? And I was like, yeah, it's a good question. So I said, let's open a Discord and talk about it. So opened up a server, and Stu and I kind of said, people come join us. People came and joined us, and then not very long later, we had the name Miskatonic Playhouse. We were like, well, we're going to do it because nobody else is doing it. And here we are.
That's great stuff. So you're mainly audio podcasts, is that right?
Well, we've got a YouTube channel, and on our YouTube you can watch and listen to our main feed. So we kind of have a few offerings really. We have our main feed, which is video, and it's produced really, really lovely, really, really simple. We've got some fantastic video editors and sound editors on our team. That's our main feed. Then we have our matinee. We're kind of running with the theatre Playhouse theme here. We have our matinee, which is more of there's still visuals, but it is a audio broadcast. And the idea of that is that we have these special ones that we kind of really work on. We do video production, but because we want to get people's precious content out that they've written, that they've created, we want people to see these games. We do also get games out as quickly as we can, as professionally as we can, so you can see lots and lots of audio broadcasts, but you can also see lots of main feeds. And we have actually started now doing live Twitch feeds as well, which has been fantastic. We hosted the live Twitch game for the Miskatonic Repository convention, which was online across all countries. Thousands of people joined. So we're working very closely with Chaosium, Sirenscape, and Miskatonic Repository, which is a really lovely place to be.
And do you find there are like different challenges between like a video podcast or a live podcast and the actual and the audio podcast?
Yeah. It's I've always got to put a shirt and tie on for a video broadcast. That seems to be the brand I've gone with. Even though we do a sound broadcast, we would still do it. We still record it like we would do a main feed. We've still got video with each other. We're still interacting with each other. So the difference is really what the listener's getting. Our investment in it, our time playing the game, prepping the game, is still absolutely, you want to represent these games in the best light possible. But the reality is I think on the back end of things, and I would say this because this is in my side of things, the back end where we have that really, professional editing, video editing, sound editing. And we've got a wonderful team now. So we've got Cosmic, we've got Pete, we've got Steve, we've got Miranda, we've got loads of people that are joining the team now across the world. This isn't just UK based. So we're really starting to find that people are seeing what we're doing and they're coming to us and saying, how can we be a part of what you're doing? And then the next thing we know, our capacity has grown again and again and again. So we're in quite an exciting time.
That's great, yeah. And any what's your current series that you're doing?
So Hedge is running a fantastic Rivers of London, completely original piece. So a while ago we did Cult and Culpability, which was the new Chaosium Cthulhu, Regency Cthulhu book, and we kind of ran that as it was released, and Chaosium were amazing, and they let us have a look at the book, and we had Lynn and Mike and Scott Dorwood, people join us. From the get-go on this, Lynn, who has authored Rivers of London, obviously worked with Ben Aronovich. Lynn is one of our main stars. So it's myself, Lynn Hardy, led by Hedge, who's he's the keeper of the game, he's the GM of the game, and that's our kind of production that we've kind of got burning in the background there, that we're recording and we're editing. But we've always got different things going on. We've just finished recording Castle of Greed, which will be out soon. We've also got a few more in the works, and we've got another broadcast coming out with some of our Australian friends. We might even try and convince Kat Clay, who wrote Hammersmith Haunting. She's going to keep it for us again. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming up.
Great stuff. And going back to, you say like you've written for Miskatonic Repository. I know you've written 3 scenarios up to now at least.
Yeah.
The Albion's Ruin series. Yeah. What inspired you to like pick Southwest England as a setting?
So I do really, I've always liked that kind of that idea of you write what you know. And yeah, I've lived in the Southwest, not my whole life, but I've lived here now. My kids have grown up in the Southwest, so I know it really well. The first one, Prisoner's Dilemma, that was because locationally I live very close to the moors, I live very close to the coast, but I live very close to the moors, and on the moors is the prison. Amount of times we've hiked up there, we've been around there, and it's just such beautiful landscape. And I think there's lots of writers, wherever they are in the country or wherever they are in the world, they know their environment really well. And as much as I would love to, or I will do at some point, write something that's very different to my environment, something set in the desert or something set in the ocean or whatever, I think writing what you know, especially as an early writer, is a really good way to make sure that you can embed that environmental aspect of your scenario. I think Call of Cthulhu, the big thing with Call of Cthulhu, and using Sirenscape in, whether it's a home game, whether it's a recorded game, whatever, Sirenscape and your environmental aspects, you can build an atmosphere. For me, Call of Cthulhu is all about building a shared atmosphere, a shared experience. So those first few games I've written, they're all in the same fictional town in the Southwest, because I wanted someone to play one and go, I know this writer, I know this area, I can do the next one. I know this area, I know this writer, I can do the next one. Even though they're very different, it's a bit of a series. They've got a bit of a string there that they can play with.
That's great. Any future projects coming out for yourself on that side?
Yeah. So we ran the massive long-running campaign for Cult and Culpability, which was our Regency Cthulhu game, which we had Lynn, Mike, Scott, everybody kind of joined us in. That is currently in the works to come out as a campaign book. So it's getting closer. Every few months there's a new conversation where I go, it's getting closer. But it is currently working on a series of edits from my wonderful editor, who I can't recommend enough, is XB Lovecat, who is a fantastic editor, really knows Call of Cthulhu. And getting these edits done goes back to XB. Then hopefully we'll be in a position, maybe later this year, we'll be looking at the book actually getting out there. So very excited to get that done because that will be a monumental piece of writing for me and a publication, so really excited.
That sounds great, something to look forward to. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
And have a good rest of the con. All the best to you.
Thank you.
And